What's going on, everyone? So, if the Lakers do bring in Koloko, how? Right? Obviously, you could waive, calling Castleton, take him off of a two-way, bring Koloko in that regard. You could maybe go and, pull off a salary dump trade, maybe dump Reddish or something like that to now bring him in. If you're swapping Koloko for Jackson Hayes, that makes no sense. And Christian Wood is better than both of them, right? Obviously, he's not a true 7-footer, and I get that he's going to miss at least the first month of the season, but still better, and the impact he would have is better when he is healthy and is able to play. And Koloko is a guy that he hasn't played a whole year, and he's coming off of blood clots and stuff. I love to see that he's getting medically cleared and he's going to be back. And I want all the success. And I want him to have success on the Lakers. I would love to have him on the Lakers. Young, versatile, big, that can run the floor, block shots, rebound, development guy. He's not a guy that's going to come in and have an immediate impact. But as a potential future piece that, hey, he's 7 feet and we need that right now. Slot him in, fine, I'm okay with it. But it just kind of feels like something is going to develop, right? Because Koloko, I don't see signing just a training camp. Like, why would he sign a training camp deal with the Lakers just to not make the roster? Because the Lakers have no open roster spots when he has teams like the Spurs and the Clippers and the Heat and some of these teams that could potentially just get him immediately and maybe even play him in a role. Right, I just think he's going to go to the best potential and the best opportunity for him to actually get playing time and stuff. I do imagine he's realistic. I do imagine he understands, like, hey, I'm coming in, getting a vet minimum. I'm going to have to prove myself. I have to prove to my own self that I can be healthy, that I can be good and all this stuff, right? I imagine that he has some level of realism as what the situation is. But we're getting closer to training camp. Lakers do need a big man. See a lot of reports and ties to Giannis Valanciunas. Even if you bring in Koloko, you got to do a trade for Valanciunas. However, if you're going to just do a, trade Reddish to bring in Koloko, why? That doesn't make any sense, right? Like, you're going to give up 2 seconds and all that stuff just to go. Like, why didn't you do that for Valanciunas? Why didn't you do that for one of these other centers, right? What about Colin Castleton? Do you not believe Colin Castleton's ready? Do you not believe that he's less ready than a guy that missed a whole season, is coming off of blood clots, right? Like, if that's the case, get rid of him, right? And then bring in Koloko on a two-way and then do that. Sure, fine. But it also kind of feels like something is brewing. Reports about DeAndre Hunter. Lakers in talks with Atlanta about potential DeAndre Hunter trade. Although it was reported too that, like, hey, we've been here with Atlanta, right? Lakers in Atlanta continuously, talked about DeJounte Murray, and they thought that the deal was close to being done, and then lo and behold, nothing happens, and then now he ends up going to the Pelicans, right? So, you're hearing all this. You got the Portland Trailblazers, Jeremy Grant, right? If you're going to do a deal, you might as well do a deal. Now, that doesn't mean you go give 2 firsts for Jeremy Grant or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But if I'm the Lakers and I'm going to salary dump and give up assets in order to sign Koloko, I'm at least picking up the phone and pushing hard for any type of trade. There's there's like 7, 8 teams that need to unload guys and trade guys and do stuff. I'm picking up the phone and trying to work something out, trying to get at least, a entry deal, right? Like, I don't want to just see the Lakers just salary dump to bring in a guy that he might not even be able to play. He might not even be able to play. Yes, he's going to be medically cleared, but what is conditioning like? What is his strength? And, is he able to keep pace and his timing? And, it's not easy to just take a year off. I mean, granted, he didn't take a year off just for fun. He took a year off because he was dealing with a serious matter. But I would imagine, given that medical condition, he's not just out there being able to just pump the iron and, do all this right. And even then, I imagine it's limited and there's no replicating actual NBA games and minutes and all that stuff, right? I like Koloko. I like the idea of him in the long-term potential and him being a piece. I've talked about him when there were rumors about the Raptors and the Lakers potentially doing a trade. And I was like, hey, it would be great to go and see if you could get Koloko in that deal as well, right? So I'm all for it, but it just kind of feels like something's brewing, right? Like, even like Jordan Goodwin. They're like, we got reports that they're signing him and all, and yes, he's on a training camp deal, but they brought him in for a specific reason, right? Like they obviously they want a competitive practices and training camp, and Jordan Goodwin is a guy that was busting up Reeves and D'Lo and all stuff. But it also makes sense, like Jordan Goodwin would be great if you end up doing, just say Jeremy Grant, do a Jeremy Grant trade, and you trade Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, and Cam Reddish, right? Those three for Jeremy Grant. Okay, if you get that done, right? Well, now you just basically swapped Rui for Jeremy Grant. Well, you still have 2 roster spots now. You only technically have to fill one of them, but you have 2 spots. So maybe you're bringing in Jeremy Grant, and then you're bringing in Jordan Goodwin, and you're bringing in Koloko, and you're trying to work that out. And, maybe you're dumping an extra salary or something like that. Maybe you are adding a Jackson Hayes to the deal, because it's like, or maybe you're doing that, and then you're going to go do a Valanciunas trade. Lakers may look to move Jared Vanderbilt even, right? I mean, the Lakers have had talks about trading Jared Vanderbilt this past offseason, right? And it was kind of like, why? Like, that's the last guy you want to trade. Like, what are you doing? Well, he might have a lingering foot issue that continues to cause problems for him that could continue to be an issue. So it's like, do you just get off of him now, especially if you go get a Jeremy Grant? So do you work out some deal, bring in a Jeremy Grant, maybe do a trade for a Valanciunas, right? And you're basically unloading, 5 guys, and then you're bringing in a Koloko, you're bringing in a Jordan Goodwin, and now you have, essentially, whatever, D'Lo, Reeves, Grant, LeBron, and AD with like Goodwin. I'm not gonna lie, I would, at that point, if you got a Jeremy Grant, you got Valanciunas, I would actually look to go get a Bruce Brown. Can you turn D'Lo and something into Bruce Brown, right? Because I just think Bruce Brown, D'Lo, or Bruce Brown, Reeves, Jeremy Grant, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. I think that now you're talking a contending level 5. Now you're talking a very versatile, do everything type of 5, right? And then you'd have Jordan Goodwin, right? You'd have Max Christie, you'd have Dalton Connect, keep Christian Wood if I can, and then you have Koloko and Hayes and stuff like that. Like, now I think you're a legit contending team. Now I think you're 10 deep, right? Now I think like you got upgrades in key positions. You're going to be better defensively, especially with a Bruce Brown, and assuming Jeremy Grant can kind of get back into that defensive piece, right? Got a defensive point of attack, excellent rebounding point guard in Goodwin, right? Got obviously LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Christian Wood can back up LeBron. I think you're very versatile. I think you got size, you got switchability, you got versatility. I think Lakers are in good shape at that point. But it just, again, like, how else do you bring Koloko in? And it just doesn't make sense to me personally. And look, you could argue like, hey, the Lakers haven't been making the best decisions lately, but there's just so many question marks and risks with Koloko. So if you're going to bring him in, I think something has to happen. I think you have to pull off some type of trade other than just a salary dump trade, right? Because again, like, yeah, you could dump Reddish, but you need to make sure that Vando's ready, right? Because we don't have another sizable defensive guy that can kind of give the best Vando impression, right? All we have is Cam Reddish. Now, I don't think he's the be-all end. I don't think it's like you can't trade him or anything like that. But again, like Koloko, you're probably not playing Koloko over Hayes, right? So all you're doing is bringing in Koloko as insurance because, no, you're going to have Christian Wood out for at least a month into the season, maybe more. So it's just kind of more insurance than anything, which is fine. Better be safe than sorry. But it's just like you don't want to cause one problem to solve a problem. Like, yeah, okay, great, we solved the center position, but now we have a problem at the wing spot, right? And what if Dalton Connect isn't ready, right? It's like, how do you make that work, right? And look, Anthony Davis talked about how he wants to play more at the 4, right? So that would mean LeBron would have to play more at the 3 or the point guard or whatever. But there's also talk that Max Christie's going to be playing a lot more minutes, that they're going to play him a lot. Well, you got to find minutes for him somewhere. So is he playing at the 3? Okay, if you're just basically playing Max Christie at the 3 more times than not, then sure, I guess get rid of Cam Reddish at that point. But it's odd. It's going to be interesting to see, how does this unfold? How does this play out? What's the Lakers' plan in place? Again, I'm all for Koloko, but there's just a lot of questions about that. Now, obviously, maybe some of those things come to light. At the time of recording this video, I don't have that information, but, obviously, maybe there are some more details that make more sense. Maybe we do get news that he signed a training camp deal or something like that, kind of as like a prove-it deal. It's always a possibility, but I would imagine he's going to want to go to where he gets the best opportunity and chance. Now, maybe he looks at it long-term as like, man, I could be on the Lakers and long-term, eventually be the starting center for the Lakers, right? Kind of take the gamble on himself. Like, hey, in 2-3 years, I could, grow and develop under the Lakers banner and then just move right into that starting center spot. Possibly. That could be a possibility. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think, yes, something's got to be brewing? It's the only way it makes sense for Koloko. It doesn't make sense to just do a salary dump deal just to bring him in, right? Because then you're kind of just you're trading assets to bring in a guy that, again, you don't even know if he can play. You don't even know if he's ready to play yet, right? And again, what's going on with Colin Castleton? It's very odd in my opinion. But again, we'll see how it all plays out. Love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.